Team Star.
Have you been like developing anything like that? Something you want to start pitching again?
I was
Or
thinking that too.
Yeah, I'm pitching something.
Yeah.
You know, and
Was it one of the 5 ideas that was kicked around?
no, it's a new thing.
She's like, nah, like I'm polished now.
It's a new thing, and I'm working on a couple other things too. But you know, I don't know. It's I'm hoping to take a little bit of a break in between.
Well needed.
But you know, these
Well
these
deserved.
processes are so slow that I was like, you know what, I'll start pitching just to
Yeah.
get some
Get it
the
rolling.
momentum.
So, can you walk us through like some of your duties as a showrunner and as an EP on the show, like this highly successful Disney show? Can you walk us through like what you do on a daily basis?
Oh my gosh. So, running a show is such a complicated thing. It's actually really funny because a couple nights ago, I was at a bar getting drinks with, Dana, who's doing Owl House, and the Houghton brothers, who are doing Big City Greens,
Sure.
and Matt, who's doing Amphibia, and they're all super cool shows. I mean, the new stuff coming up at Disney is awesome, and I think people that like Star are really gonna like all those shows. And of course, Big City Greens is on already, which is just a really really cool show. They're in the middle of it. It's like they are at the point that I was at most of the 6 years, which is you're doing pre-production and post-production. So that means you're writing, boarding, designing, and doing animatics, and you're doing mixes and sound and music design, and you're going to records and all this stuff. So week of a showrunner. Oh God, it's so hard because it's such a big thing.
Yeah,
So if I had the rainbow chart here, we all know the rainbow chart.
Yes.
So
the sideways.
do we?
one, Yeah.
Yeah, the rainbow
It's
chart.
the schedule.
The schedule.
Oh, I was like,
the stair step.
I know it sounds very magical as the rainbow chart. It's a bad name for it because it's horrifying.
production schedules. Yeah.
Yeah, so the rainbow chart it lays out your entire year on a chart, and it tells you every single week all the things that have to get done on your show to stay on schedule, and then it has this sort of cross section that's like, where does everything have to be at? This is where writing has to be at, this is where boards have to be at, this is where outlines have to be at, this is where your editing has to be at, and it goes all the way across this crazy thing, and it's nuts. So as a showrunner, you're involved. You're basically trying to get a group of 50 people to all be on the same page and have the same vision. But of course, it's people. Everybody has their own personality. People don't like other people. Things are going on. There's always like some drama, and then
Some episodes are really difficult.
some episodes are really hard, and some are really easy, and also the beginnings of shows are like the worst, because it's like you're trying to figure out like who on your team is like really awesome at what, and who's working right, and also like who are these characters, and then also you've got these executives going, we hate everything all of a sudden, and it's like it's like the most stress. Like I had never had a panic attack before the show, and then I started like getting them during the show,
Wow.
which is
Showrunner is the most stressful position.
it's
like,
really
from what
stressful,
I've seen.
and something I've been thinking about a lot lately. You're the boss too, so
Yeah.
people don't necessarily like you too.
You're wearing a million hats.
You're wearing a million hats, and you're trying really hard, but you also have to make hard decisions, and it's it kind of sucks in a lot of ways. Like it's kind of like the coolest thing I've ever done, and like the hardest thing I've ever done. And there's parts of it like I've had to fire people, which I hated. I absolutely hate, and you have to give the hard notes, and you have to, but then you also like at least for me as a showrunner, because you also have to think about that, like what kind of a boss do I want to be?
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to be the type of boss I would want to work under, obviously. So it's like I want to make sure I'm giving credit where credit's due, and I want to make sure I'm lifting people up, and I want to make sure I'm trying to thank people and make sure. Well, yeah, and make sure that people are in an environment where they can be creative and bring their best selves to the table. So you're trying to do all that, and then you're also going to 500 meetings, and you're getting the blunt of any of the executive notes and stuff. You're getting the, hey, this isn't working. Hey, this storyboard was not funny. Hey, what, you're getting all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then you're also, just schedule wise, like my Wednesdays and Fridays were usually voice records from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. So think about how much of a chunk of your week that takes up.
Yeah, you're missing a lot.
Yeah,
Just by
every
doing that.
other week I was going to a mix, which would mean
Approvals are like on hold.
Yeah, which is usually 2 p.m. to like, I mean, we're supposed to be done at 6 p.m., but it was usually more like 8 p.m., you know? So that's every other week. And then I really wanted to be involved in the writing, so I like never ever missed, and we're a board-driven show, so we would do outlines, so I never missed an outline meeting, but we would do those Mondays, you know, Monday mornings from like, usually they'd go into lunch, you know, so like 9 a.m. through lunch. And then, oh my gosh. Yeah, then, you know, you're going to every single board pitch and doing notes, and on our show we would do 3 board pitches per episode. Yeah,
That's
it is
a
really
lot.
intense. It is really intense. I mean, one of the things that was cool was at a certain point on the show, so this was kind of going into the second season, I found a director and a storyboard artist that like completely got the show I wanted to make, and that was Aaron Hammersley and Dominic Vicignano. They were just like, shout out. I know, they had their last day a few weeks ago, and I like, we were all crying. Like, yeah, we just really liked working together, and it's
Grab onto their legs. Don't
leave! But of course, they've got like super cool new jobs,
Yeah.
and they're really awesome. And, you know, but once I got into the second season, like that's what's really cool too, is you can kind of see like, oh, who gets what I'm trying to do, or who gets the vision and is bringing so much to it. So I got to make them supervising producers, which was really cool.
Wow.
So then I got to divide up some of the stuff, which really, really like saved my life.
Delegation,
That's awesome.
It's a load off your back.
You have to. You have to. I mean, you really, you know.
I'm sure that's the hardest part, is trusting someone. Just so you can be like, okay, I can let go a little bit.
Exactly.
Like, fly, little birdie, fly. Yeah.
Yeah, and you have to. You have to. You know, it's crazy. It's totally crazy. You know, and you gotta make these deadlines. You know, it's
Yeah,
like.
for sure.
You don't have to.
Sometimes
you tell
you
them
do.
it'll
Yeah,
get
I
done
know.
when it'll get done.
You know what was the
Yeah.
crazy? What was the craziest one? Monster Bash, which was because they, and this was only because they decided to air them all in a like a week. They were doing
Oh,
some
they
kind
would
of.
do one of those for you.
Oh, so annoying! I hate
Yeah.
that. But
We
because
got
of that,
those on Titans all the time.
because of that, we had to get this deliver this one episode like 5 days till airing. Which
Oh,
usually
God.
we had a lot longer than that, but that was like holy shit.
We did that on one episode out of Jimmy's Head, which was the episode that was fully almost animated. It was like a live action animated
Oh my
hybrid.
God.
But we did all this animations, like at least 11 minutes of animation. Granger was working on that show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we did like 11 minutes of animation next week with Show Here.
Oh
And
yeah.
I'm like, how? We just finished this episode. So sometimes they'll just like run you through the gauntlet, which is like, oh well, we like holiday episodes are always fun.
Oh, yeah.
You never had to do that on Star, right?
No, we did. Well, we did a Halloween one. We
Yeah,
did.
Disney's notorious for like good holiday episodes.
Yeah.
They try.
And we did we did like a holiday episode. I don't want to do like Christmas or something.
Sure.
Holiday.
We did a-
all-purpose holiday.
Politically correct.
Yeah,
holiday.
we did a muni. We did Stump Day,
Okay.
Stump
yeah.
Day, and Holiday Special. I had a very good time doing that.
Yeah, but those are always like, then you have like very set deadlines that you have to hit, and it's one of those things like most people don't understand like how productions operate. Usually you're working very far in advance. They just see a cartoon that pops up. It's like, oh, they must have worked on that a week ahead of time.
Yeah,
No,
start
there's
to
lots of planning.
finish. These episodes take like a year.
Yeah, at least.
So it's really funny because maybe the fans will see an episode and like be freaking out about something and like, and they'll act like we just did this, or they'll, it's like, no, this took a while. We've
Yeah.
been thinking about this a long time in advance.
Yeah, and then that helps us get over the shock of it, because we're like, oh yeah, you guys are just caught up to that. Oh, I already knew that. I'm cool with it there.
So you should probably start wrapping up the interview for the questions part.
I'm sure you have a lot of
Her
questions.
followers are getting impatient.
Oh.
They're like, we want to ask questions.
I had one more
Okay.
question since you were telling me you had 6 years of stars wrapping up. Can you point out any really standout moments that were the highlights of working as a showrunner and creator for that 6 years? Something that a few things that you really just love to do.
That I love to do.
Yeah, or the experiences that you had.
Oh, man.
in 6 years.
I'll have to say, I think the best moments were some of the ones where the crew was just all together getting to hang out, because those are actually kind of rare, where there's actually just like a great day where everybody can just like, have some time off. Like one of my favorite ones was the Christmas before this last one. We had a full-on Santa Claus show up. Just like this guy was 100% a character, and I was freaking out because I could not figure out where this guy came
Who
from.
hired him, or if anybody
No, no one was
Do
admitting.
you think like they like someone within the studio was like
Nobody
dressed up?
was admitting to the Santa, but he was only hanging out with our crew, and I was starting to get really creeped out, and I like could not figure it. I found out who it was.
Okay.
Actually, it was, but everybody was stone cold. Nobody was admitting to Santa, and he was like, and even Santa was not admitting that he was a fake Santa. It was this.
I love how they're keeping you in the dark.
Oh my god! But like, there were some people in the crew like were so happy. They were like tearing up. They're like, it's the real Santa. It really felt like that. It was so funny.
You remember the Santa Claus movie? The Santa Claus movie is called the Santa Claus movie.
No, but
Okay.
that sounds terrifying.
I'm too old, but yeah, it came out in like 1984.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's-
Is he evil or is he?
No, he's a good guy, but it's not like Ernest Goes to Saves Christmas or anything like that. It's literally a movie about Santa Claus.
Yeah, Santa Claus the movie, right?
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
that what it was?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's just like that's Santa Claus.
So stuff like that was cool. Other things that are cool is when we just like got a really interesting victory, right? Like I remember the episode Puberty.
Oh yeah.
That was one that was like sort of rewritten and redone last minute. Just a really difficult episode. And then it was like, cool, I love this episode. This is awesome. And then it sort of came from that there's an SMP department. They're like, you can't do an episode called Puberty. They're just
I was
working.
wondering how you got that one through, because she's just boys.
Yeah, they were gonna shut it down,
Yeah.
but then the executives actually really stood up for it,
Really?
and yeah, and that was super cool. That was a really cool moment. Oh my gosh, what else?
Was there anything else that you kind of like you snuck through that you didn't think would make it? Because that show gets pretty edgy.
I mean, there's stuff like that, I guess. I don't know. I probably shouldn't get into that stuff too much. I mean, I will say, I don't think we're ever trying to get away with anything.
Yeah.
For me, it's like, I just want to make like a smart, funny cartoon that, is interesting and entertaining. And I've never believed in talking down to kids. Like, kids are really smart.
Of course, yeah.
And of course, on Star we get a lot of teenagers and all that. But,
and
adults. I mean, which is super cool. So, I don't know. I just want to make a smart, interesting, fun show. And
People always think that like show creators or whatever cartoonists, they want to like insert stuff or like
No.
do subliminal stuff. It's like, no, man, that's not.
no,
their
actually,
intention.
no. But you know what? Every once in a while, like, and I'm not gonna say who, but there's somebody on my team was sneaking some things into layouts, and I really was not happy about
Oh,
it.
God. You're such an angel.
I was like, oh my god. Actually, this was really funny because he did it one time, and it's like, oh my god, like SMP didn't catch it, and it went and it got animated. And okay, so this is something too people probably don't know about cartoons, which are we don't do every single background. At least I don't know on like Star,
Yeah.
different shows do.
Rick and Morty's the same. Yeah.
Yeah, we do keys. So we're drawing one background. So here's the Diaz living room. Here's one side of it. We're going to turn around and show what the other side looks like. But when you do close-ups on the characters, when you do angles,
That's up to the studio.
that's up to the studios that animate, and our studios in Korea, they would do that. But oftentimes you don't really get to decide what the exact layouts are going to be, So this particular artist, this was in the Bon Bon the Birthday Clown episode. He had put some inappropriate gravestones in the graveyard. He had one that was Mo Lester.
Wait, were they separated?
Yeah, it was Mo and then Lester.
Nice.
Anyway, which, if it was just like one background we had to change in post, no big deal. But of course they ended up
Recreating it several
in
times.
Korea, they ended up staging most of it around the molester grave, and I
They
was like,
knew.
oh
I wonder
no!
if they knew.
So I was not happy about that. So then later,
Oh my god.
this same artist had drawn a melting candle that just looked like a penis. It was just a big penis.
On
And-
purpose, or what do you think?
Yes,
it was
on
just
purpose.
like,
Yes, on purpose, and it even got to color. Like I noticed it in paint.
Yeah,
'cause,
it's because the wax probably looked like baby
Oh my
throbbing.
Yeah, so I was at the meeting with the paint, and the painter had painted it, and I was like, oh, hold up. And she was like, I just painted him, what was that? And I was like, okay, we're getting him in here. And I well, you know what I did? I brought in the whole design team, and we were all just like, I'm like, just everybody sit here, and we'll all be looking, and then we'll bring him in.
Mhm.
And we'll be like, so what's this?
So you waited until the last minute.
So what's
Wow.
this?
Yeah.
What's right
Put him
here?
on the
Did
spot.
the guy get?
No, it was fine. He
Oh, yeah.
changed it,
He
but
changed.
I mean,
Did he laugh it off like, oh no,
It was fine. It was fine. I don't think he did it again after that. I mean, honestly, it's
That's great.
like It's fine until we have to change a bunch of backgrounds in post.
Yeah.
That's when it's not
editing
fun.
tech catches it. Did the tombstone stay in, or did
No,
they-
we changed
okay.
it. No, I don't want that
Yeah.
stuff in there. I mean, honestly, I'm not trying to do inappropriate things. Like,
Yeah, of course.
there's
It's not the show for that either. We could do stuff like that on Rick and
Well,
Morty.
yeah, of course, because it's an adult show.
Right.
I mean, I've had, there's definitely been things I think that just I believe in that I haven't been able to do, but you always try, and you're always trying to like push the bucket on those things. But I'm never trying to like put in dick jokes or anything. Like, definitely not. So
There's always conspiracy theories out there that, like, we are trying to always do something that,
People
like,
are reading
not-
into stuff. That's
Yeah,
what's
it's-
going
Too
on.
much time in their hands, because they're not sure.
Oh my god.
We're just trying to get the show done, guys.
That is the thing that's really funny when people online will like freak out about something
Yeah.
that's just like an animation mistake or
Yeah.
It just-
or some inconsistency that it's just like, oh, we tried so hard, and you're trying to look for things, but it's
yeah.
impossible to catch
Find
everything.
every little thing is impossible.
I don't know if any of you guys like watch Shane Dawson on YouTube. He's like one of the like highest subscribed YouTubers or whatever. He does conspiracy theory videos. I watched one recently, and he did something about like old cartoons. Like he mentioned SpongeBob and like Mickey Mouse and stuff, and he went into like how a lot of their episodes are about like suicide.
Oh, whoa.
And like I was like I worked with a few people from SpongeBob on Uncle Grandpa, and their humor is just super dark. And I was like, no, they're not subliminally trying to like teach people like try to convince people to commit suicide. Like, just stop.
They're reading way too much.
It's way too much.
They're watching like Steamboat Willie. It's like, hey, they're trying to teach everyone to be steamboat captains. Like, it's like if you play the whistling backwards, you just play Stairway to Heaven.
Oh my God.
It plays it at some time.
Yeah, exactly. So it was like Walt Disney had a time machine.
No.
There, that's a conspiracy.
And his head is in the basement.
His head's definitely in the basement. That's true.
Should I do the intro again, or are we good to go?
No.
Great.
Oh, there we
Yeah,
go.
let's
We're
go.
good.
So there was an intro, and then there was about 45 seconds to a minute of awkwardness. That will serve as our musical intro today, just us rambling about nothing. And now, here we are.